Welcome back to the S.H.O.P, the Social Hub of Positivity. Happy New Year to you all. I know this is the second show of the new year 2024. And this week we have two wonderful people. One who's a regular visitor to our S.H.O.P in Emery Gate, the former one and the most recent one. And his wonderful father, who is a gentleman and a scholar, even though he comes from Burnley. He don't come from Burnley, man. What's the matter with you?
I don't come from Burnley.
He don't come from Burnley, but he was in the RAF. Let me feel it. Now, Luke, how are you, sir?
Pretty excellent today.
Well, that's marvellous.
Woke up, support workers showed up at my house, went to see a mental health counsellor, went to Weatherspoons a bit for drink after that. Now I've just been chilling at Can Do Arts waiting for the interview to happen.
Perfect. Okay, so tell us these wonderful people, because a lot of people watch it from afar. They don't actually get to come into the shop. What is it you do? What does the shop mean to you?
Well, when I began living in Chippenham about a year and a half ago, I was obviously very keen to find social places to find new friends and new communities to become a part of.
Yeah.
Obviously, one of the big things when you move to a new town is to look for new friends and people, and something that's very overwhelming and quite frightening at first.
Yeah,
I found this place after about maybe 2 or 3 weeks living here.
Yeah.
And a lot of the new friends I've got in my life now I've made by coming here. People like Mark, Phil, Claire, Andy, quite a lot of the other staff and social workers. And not only do I love coming, but a lot of my support workers. And Dawn in particular became good friends with Tracy did, because they're both into biker culture, so we found that in common together. So my support workers also love coming here as
You've
well.
actually got some great support workers, to be fair, haven't you?
Yeah.
And that's really nice, because they join in conversations in the art. You do obviously the various art projects and what have you that are going on. Didn't we meet though before? Didn't you come to Can Do?
Yeah, I realised this. And I only realised this like a while into going to Can Do. When I was still at Springfield, right, in a couple final months I was there, they invited all of us to I can't remember the name of the day was, but it was like some sort of event. They invited to the main Can Do Arts building.
Yes.
Me and a few other students there, and they made a short film there. And I only realised after going to Can Do for about 6 months, I'd been to that main building before.
Yeah.
And that short film was still there, and Donna gave me it.
Yeah.
So I had this connection with.
I've got it, but I haven't seen it.
No.
That's nice, isn't it?
I know. I must get round to it.
No, what's interesting is because it was like you made a film in a day, didn't you?
Yeah, it was about robots, AI, something like that.
Yeah, I know, but it was really interesting storyline, and you all collaborated, and you just got on with it, and you did it. And now, so you're interested in that. But what I find quite intriguing, you've actually got quite in-depth knowledge about a lot of subjects.
It's a common thing a lot of people have told me. Not just you.
Yeah,
lots of people.
Yeah. But all these other people, are they as good looking as me?
No.
Exactly. This is part. Hey, shut up, Steve. Come on now.
He knows where his bread's buttered.
Yeah. Can you sort of give us an now, because part of the reason we do these things, as you know, because you observe them and what have you, and you see a lot being done, is I'm quite intrigued and fascinated by individual people, their stories, regardless of the background, regardless of some people have books, some people are mildly famous, some people are just good old-fashioned nice characters from here or thereabouts. We do interview people up and down the country when we're around and about, but we've got a little community here, haven't we? And actually the majority of people that come to the shop have at one stage, because they want to, not because we force them to, as you'll testify, am I right? That you want to, and rightly so, have a community, but also have a conversation about whatever on our podcast. And I'm delighted that you're doing it, and I'm really chuffed that your dad has come along to support you doing that. Now, what other things, because didn't you recently start doing volunteering?
Yeah, I've got 2. I've got one in Oxford.
Perfect. This is what
The
we're talking
one
about. This is
opposite-
encourage other people to do stuff like that.
It's the one opposite Revo Lounge.
Yeah.
And I've got one in S.H.O.P, that's in Calm. Calm's quite a close town. It's only like, I'd say 10 minutes on the bus.
Yeah.
Plus I'm somewhat familiar with Calm because that's where Springfield used to be.
Yes, of course.
So it's a town that wasn't, thankfully, too foreign to me.
A town that you know so well.
There, and I love both doing them. I think what I like is that being a charity shop, you can get multiple jobs to do. You can maybe stack, you can label stuff, you can put stuff away, interact with people who come in. It's not like a job where you do the same thing all day, which I find really boring myself.
Yeah. How long have you been doing that?
Oxfam I've been doing about 4 months, and I think S.H.O.P I started last summer.
It's great though, because
I did do a few other volunteer roles when I did one in Salvation Army and I didn't work out, and I did one in Melksham where actually all the people who usually come here went there for a day, but that place is shut down now. So
I know. Remember, it was a lovely Barbara's daughter that got us that trip across to the.
They went on train and
the train
sport
to do
workers
the
drove me there.
yeah.
But that place is shut down now. So
That's shut down the cafe.
That's what Phil told me. Yeah.
That's a shame.
Oh,
I remember that was
closed ages
great.
ago.
A whole load of you went, didn't you, with Barbara and everyone?
Sport workers drove me there, as they do, but I do remember Mark from when they did go on a train together. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you go on the train?
No, sport workers drove me there.
Did they?
No, they do that. Well, yeah. Well, they've kind of messed that up lately, but they used to drive me to a lot of different places.
Yeah.
Cannes, Trowbridge, Bath one day. They've kind of messed up the rules when it comes to whether allowed to drive people now lately. But yeah. Me and Dawn went to a town where my nan used to live, Andover. And my nan used to live there a very long time ago, so I wanted to visit there again and see how different the town was compared to when I used to go there. Because me and my mum, my nan's still alive, but mum, she lives in Chepstow now. Me and my mum sometimes go see her, but we often used to go to Andover a lot when nan, her husband, lived there.
Yeah. Did you ever go to the Chepstow races?
No.
Racetrack there, isn't there?
That's why they have the Welsh Grand National.
Yeah. A friend of mine used to have a place near Chepstow. Seems like a nice. It's Monmouthshire, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a nice little place.
It is.
So I think it's fantastic, by the way, that you're doing volunteering. Would you recommend? There might be someone watching this and thinking, "I've thought about doing volunteering."
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
100%.
What's the main aspect of it? What's the thing would you say is?
New experiences.
Yeah.
People you can encounter.
Yeah.
Help with your confidence, doing
Yeah.
things, preparing you for. I think the first time I ever did volunteer work was actually before I began recruitment. I was at a college called Ruskin Mill, and Ruskin the closest city was Gloucester. And obviously, when I was in college, I'd often go there for my free time because some of the.
You didn't catering.
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah. But obviously, when I did free time in Gloucester, there was a place I found called the Cavern. And that was when I was in Gloucester. That was my go-to social place.
Yeah.
And it just was during the lockdown period, and I got volunteer work there.
What
Again, it was kind of like working in the bar almost. You make drinks for people, do a bit of cleaning, put rubbish in bins away.
See, that's interesting you say that because I would like. I love this place and its thing. It'd be great if we had a cafe aspect to it.
That's what that place had.
Right. And I think then also the volunteers and visitors could do shifts in running that. Get qualification to do it as well. Health and hygiene.
You've got quite a few catering qualifications, haven't you? In health and hygiene.
There you go. Is that from Springfield?
Yeah.
Or from Ruskin? They're good. They're how good's the
No,
catering?
sorry, that's from
Ruskin.
Ruskin.
Ruskin, that's good.
And actually, Ruskin's also had a shop there where I first did work experience.
Yeah.
And the shop basically, they actually made a lot of food at that college job
And then
because they had
sold
a
it.
farm there. And, yeah, and that's that. In the shop, yeah.
Okay, well, that's similar to what I'm talking about then. Because we've got an allotment, but which we use for the community. But it would be great if we could have an interlinked hub that had also the workshops, all the different. We've got poetry workshops here. We've got the variety of making workshops, the craft workshops, the art workshops, the creative writing workshops. I'm going to keep going until someone stops me. Workshops.
Yeah.
Do you do a cookery workshop?
No, because we do at the other place. We work alongside the young people. But this is my point, because we haven't got the facility.
Yeah.
I would love us to have a kitchen aspect to it, so that the food was really healthy, accessible food, but also to develop people's confidence. Well, you know this. You're telling me the same thing. It's like, yeah, that's what we want you to have a community cafe. Where Sarah Jane's is now. We were looking to, before they had it, to make it a community cafe. It was a long story, but the bid came along, so the people that were involved in trying to get the community cafe all of a sudden were interested in promoting the bid, which no longer exists.
Well, that would suit you down to the ground with your experience, wouldn't it?
Because remember, I met one of your wasn't he one of your lecturers, supporters over at the college? Remember I was interviewing him?
Oh yeah, basically, as I've told you, a while back in the old room, there was this guy who showed up, and he actually was a staff member at Ruskin Mill. We recognised each other. He used to work in one of the canteens there. That was a crazy coincidence, but still.
Yeah.
It was really awesome when stuff like that happens.
Yes,
Bumping
it is.
into someone
Well, that's the good thing about getting out, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And being social, whether it's in your education part or it's in your volunteering.
Yeah.
There's less strangers in the world.
Yeah, and actually, one of the things about living in Chippenham is that I've bumped into a lot of staff members I used to know at Springfields.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's really great because these are people who.
I was going to say the catering thing over there is brilliant as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Springfield. It's a lovely school, full stop. But I mean, particularly the. Do you enjoy your time at Springfield?
Yeah, and Ruskins. They're both phenomenal places.
Good. That's good to hear.
First went to Springfields actually 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
And I was about 15 at the time, and it was very difficult at first because the idea, I never thought I'd actually go to a place that's residential and end up liking
Was it?
Yeah.
Of course it was.
When it was
when
I was there.
Yeah,
it's not
then it
anymore.
stopped being residential. That's right.
Although there was an interesting story. The first week Luke was there.
Head teacher. There was an incident.
At the end of the week, he went round all the staff and saying, "Thank you very much. I've really enjoyed it, but I'm not coming back next week."
Yeah.
But he did, and he had a good time. He learnt a lot, didn't he?
Why were you saying that though? Because you thought.
Well, I was 15. I was because of issues I had in education. I was really. I didn't like those environments anymore. Wanted to be around.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that. Yeah.
Being at a place like that first is quite difficult.
Because it's any new places, but isn't it interesting? Because I thought that was quite a beautiful setting. I thought it actually was very sympathetic. We did a lot of work over there. I really liked the place, and I like the ethos across there. Is it John Hamp now that's the head teacher?
It's actually it's supposed to be a guy called Mr. Thomas who was I was there. He was a science teacher.
Right.
When I was there, the head teacher was never there. I never actually really met him. There was some sort of incident that happened.
Tristan.
We don't know.
He's a great guy.
But a couple of months before I left it, they told her he wasn't coming back. We never really found out why. But I never had any
was
interactions
more
with him.
bureaucracy than it was anything. He's an absolutely inspirational head.
But Mr. Ham, he was the
He's also
geography
great.
teacher.
Yes.
And I was there.
Yeah. He used to work at John Bentley. He's great.
He became his
Tristan,
successor.
fantastic.
Oh,
And I think, yeah. He did the what was it, classroom at Everest, the base camp sort of thing. What was that? Highest classroom in the thing.
Yeah, that's right.
He's thankfully still working in education because any young person that I knew that went there absolutely adored that guy.
And a lot of staff, a lot of the students were very upset when he said he wasn't going to be returning.
Of course, well, it wasn't his choice.
Of course, I
the
never.
point is, carry
Because
on.
I never really met him, I don't know, but a lot of students there looked up to him quite well.
100%. That's what I'm saying. So we used to have a lot of Springfield students.
And we mentioned before there was Josh Daly.
I don't think you can mention anyone's names on this one, but yeah, fantastic students.
He then went to after Emery Gate. He went to Ruskin Mill. And if you think Springfield is nice, you must visit Ruskin Mill. It's
They've got a
fantastic.
farm. They've got an Iron Age forge.
Perfect. Iron Age forge.
Yeah.
Iron Age forge.
To do what? For you to use?
Yeah, you can make things with iron. Anything really, yeah. The ones that
The sort of bellow thing.
yeah, I used that quite a lot. It was my favourite tool to use there in that session.
Wow. Because you're full of hot air.
Yeah.
Full up, yeah.
I mean,
He had a fish farm, didn't he?
I actually had a
Wow.
bit of a somewhat turbulent education because I ended up going to 4 different colleges and Ruskin's was the only one that actually functioned well for me. I went to the college here.
Springfield.
Right, but it's Springfield and Ruskin. But was Ruskin also residential?
Yes.
Fantastic.
And actually, I lived with. They had two types. They had residential houses where you would live with maybe a couple students, staff. But they also they employed these families.
Yeah.
And living with them is like living with your own family. You'd watch films together, do jobs around the house. And I lived with a half Filipino family, and living to them for 2 years was really amazing. We did all sorts of things together, and I really grew when I lived with them. And they had kids as well who are adults, so I also connected with them as well.
Wow.
And there was one incident where they said you'd possibly save Jane's life.
Oh yeah, basically she had health issues, right? Basically sometimes, I don't know what it was about, but it was in the middle of the night and I went and banged on her husband's door to tell her what was happening to her.
Yeah.
And thankfully he got her the correct medicine and she ended up being okay and all that.
Well done, man. It's fantastic. That's fantastic.
And then obviously July 22 I finished Ruskin's and then about 2 months later I was in Chippenham.
Cool. And you're living independently now?
Pretty much, yeah. Obviously I do have support workers, but I want to be independent as I can.
Well, exactly, and you are, aren't you?
All the jobs I do on my own,
Yeah.
cooking, cleaning, hoover, washing up, bin work.
Perfect.
Even a lot of the time I do things in town on my own. I
Yeah.
might meet up with friends on my own, go to the bars or social places like prayer cafe and all that.
Yes. Yeah. I sometimes see you at our open mics as well, don't I? It's good. So would you say then, being mainly independent, you're confident and you're happy in that situation?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. So what does the future look like? Because you're doing your volunteer work, which
got
is fantastic.
My friends and communities.
Yeah.
So inevitably I think everything will eventually work out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're doing a course at Chippenham College, aren't you?
Oh, that's another thing. I mentioned my dad, but I've done a few courses since living in Chippenham. I did one near the community hub opposite Wetherspoons.
Yes,
I did one there last summer.
Yeah.
And they even had a few people on it there was actually a Ukrainian woman on it.
Cool.
And a few from Afghanistan. They're here obviously because of the conflicts in those areas in the world. I did one at the what's that history place?
Yes.
Yeah, I ended up building a miniature World War I trench. That was
Hopefully they wanted you to. It wasn't just randomly. Hey, who's put this trench here? What was that like?
Oh, it was excellent. I became friendly with a girl there.
Yeah.
Someone who's a single mother of 3 kids. And she lived in Chippenham now as well. We've bumped into a few times and she's been living in there.
Yeah.
And all that.
Fascinating.
So yeah, it's actually incredible how well things have been in Chippenham, because when I first moved in it was so overwhelming.
Yes.
You wondering if it's going to work out, are you going to make friends, and there's so many new people that are part of my life, people from here, that couple who I'm friends with in Melksham and other people around town.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that in Bassett or Gloucester.
Right, so would you then recommend to anyone who might be watching this that volunteering's important, but also to get out and get involved in community initiatives, workshops, in a variety of community settings?
Even 4 years ago, all the things I'm doing now I wouldn't have been really motivated by.
No,
I am.
No, because you get more mature and you understand that actually being in a social environment with other kind, hopefully, people, supportive people, is the right thing, as opposed to worrying about it and staying in your bedroom, or you know what I mean, and not going out and realising there's lots of lovely people out there. Is there anything else you want to say on this glorious podcast, stroke vlog, stroke the dog, stroke the cat?
Just very overwhelmingly happy with how life has been in Chippenham.
Well, that is good to hear. I'm going to remind you every time I see you. So remember that, yeah? Oh, thank you so much. Shake my hand, brother.
Right.
You're a rogue and I'm another. Steve, pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Can I say a quick word?
You can indeed.
To anyone who's listening who hasn't been to Can-Do or a place like this, take every opportunity. Because the staff here are fantastic. And the volunteers.
Friends I've made.
They've done really well with Luke. I don't think he'd have found it as easy to progress as much as he has without a place like this. It's been a great support.
Well, that's really kind of you to say so.
And thank you very much to you and all your staff.
Well,
Brilliant.
It's a pleasure, sir. But I appreciate that.
It's okay.
Happy New Year to you both.
And to you.
You as well.
Right, this comes out on Sunday. Yeah?
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear from anyone's solicitors. That's a wrap.
Yeah.
Spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, just another